Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching NDTV. In the wake of a resurging debate over the constitution and social justice, caste has once again taken centre stage in Indian politics. Two southern states, Karnataka and Telangana, have taken the lead in fronting the Congress party's narrative around the empowerment of caste, the promise of caste census and also sub-categorization of SC communities. Now, the Congress party is clearly betting on a new axis of political mobilization, one that's rooted in the historic demand for recognition and redistribution. But can this narrative, which is championed by both Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge, centered on caste empowerment, cut through the dominant discourse which is being shaped by the BJP's blend of welfare, Hindu unity and also cultural nationalism? Remember, the Prime Minister here, Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself comes from the OBC community, and he has pushed for representation not just in constitutional posts but also within his party and his cabinet of ministers. So should caste be counted in the census? Yes, why not? But can caste be cast in the census accurately and scientifically? The question isn't just whether caste should be counted, but whether it can be effectively cast into policy without deepening existing divides in our society and ensuring that those who haven't had a seat at the table yet get one. And when you talk about Telangana, there are other questions. Can subclassification of SCs bring lasting justice to the most marginalized, or will it simply rearrange hierarchies within the existing framework? And more importantly, as Congress pushes this agenda, does it risk coming across as a party with just slogans and surveys but no solutions? Is this the next evolution of the Congress party's politics, or just a gamble with unpredictable consequences? That is what we ask tonight. We will be joined by a panel of experts. But first, here's a report.
Come Thursday, the Karnataka Cabinet will discuss a caste survey report commissioned by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah 10 years ago. The delay has been attributed to leaked data from the socio-economic survey that put the population of the politically dominant Vokaligas and Lingayats at numbers significantly lower than what was projected in the previous such survey. Not just seers and community leaders, even those within the Congress have opposed the report.
ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕುಳಿತು ಈ ವರದಿಯನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮೂಗಿನ ನೇರಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರುಪಡಿಸಿದ್ದು ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದು ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಪುನರ್ವಿಮರ್ಶೆಯಾಗಿ ಜಾತಿ ಜನಗಣತಿಯನ್ನು ಪ್ರತಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನ್ಯಾಯಸಮ್ಮತವಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ಣಯವನ್ನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾದೀತು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಭಾವನೆ ಇದೆ.
Sources say the population of backward classes, to which Siddaramaiah belongs, has been reported to be much higher than earlier believed.
There are a lot of differences within the ruling Congress government, lot of cabinet colleagues. Whenever Chief Minister Siddaramaiah feels threatened, whenever his chair is shaky, Siddaramaiah will raise this issue.
17ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅದೊಂದೇ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕರೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Whether it is scientific or unscientific, whether the numbers tally with the census or does not tally with the census, will be known only after a deep dive into the reports. As of now, I am more than sure that not many of us have gone through it thoroughly. So let's see what's in it. So why this hurry?
In neighbouring Telangana, that also recently conducted a socio-economic caste survey, the Revanth Reddy government chose Ambedkar Jayanti to roll out the subcategorization of scheduled castes to ensure that reservation for the 59 subcastes is in tandem with backwardness. The Supreme Court had ruled in August 2024 that subcategorization of SCs is constitutional.
So the government was committed to categorization, and we constituted a subcommittee. The subcommittee recommended for one-man judicial commission. It was headed by a retired judge, and within a span of 3 months, we were given a recommendation. And in toto, we placed the papers on the floor of the house, and recently we brought in the act. Today we have framed the rules and issued the consent GOs.
SC subcategorization has been a demand for over 3 decades in Telangana, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also supported it prior to Telangana Assembly elections in November 2023. The Congress seems keen to give a caste-based political push in both the southern states that it rules, Karnataka and Telangana, taking forward Rahul Gandhi's promise of Jitni Abadi Utna Haq. In Telangana, they managed to get a political consensus on increasing quota for backward classes as well as SC subcategorization. But in Karnataka, the caste survey looks set to spark fireworks, provoke protests and also expose fault lines within the Congress. With Deepak Bopanna in Bengaluru, in Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Okay, joining us now is Kanchai Laya, who's an activist and an author. We have Bhavya Krishnamurthy, spokesperson of the Congress. We have Rachna Reddy, spokesperson of the BJP. And we have Pula Rao, who's a senior journalist and also political analyst. Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. Professor Kanchai Laya, to you first. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. First is, the basic question that I wanted to ask you. The Karnataka cabinet has given its nod to what what we call the caste census. It's actually the socio-economic and educational survey. How do you see this move, sir? Because often the idea of a caste-based survey is being floated as a prelude to, the lifting of Supreme Court ceiling of 50% reservation for OBCs. Do you think that is possible? Do you think that is why the opposition is also very enthusiastic about the idea of a caste census?
No, well, when the Supreme Court drew a line at 50% reservation after the Mandal Commission implementation. Now, one of the main reasons that they said that, they are confining the backward class reservation to 27% is that there is no caste census data done by the Central Commission of Caste Census. So the numbers are absolutely unavailable, and any projection based on 1931 census is illogical and incorrect. Therefore, the whole cap of 50% has been continuing. But before this 2014 election, Congress came out with a categorical election manifesto promise, but if we come to power, we will go for, along with the national 10-year based caste census, census of people, we will also take all the caste enumerations and then overcome the 50% reservation based on the numbers.
Right.
Now, based on this, the Telangana government has done a very scientific way of, it is not called caste census.
Right.
It is called socio-economic educational caste survey.
Right.
Because it is done by the government, it has assigned that work to the planning department of Telangana government. Therefore, I think it makes sense now that Supreme Court has to get the facts before the case comes before it. Right. Telangana government asked for 42% reservation increase for both the local body elections and also reservations. The recommendation has gone to governor. From there, it appears that it is before the President of India.
Right. Professor Iyer, before I go to others, I also wanted to understand this one thing from you. While we understand that the Karnataka Backward Classes Commission has recommended doubling reservations for Muslims from 4 to 8%, it has also suggested increasing the reservation for OBCs from 32% to 51%. Now, sir, what should be the next logical step for Karnataka? Because I feel that a lot of jobs are being created by the private sector now. So, there's no longer that kind of employment that's available in the government sector. So what logically is the end game here? How are people going to get tangible benefits from this exercise, which is the socio-economic survey?
What happened is that whether it is Telangana or Karnataka, even Bihar, the Muslims have their own caste structure because most of the Muslims, 95% of the Muslims have been converts from artisanal and lower caste and different agrarian castes, and the caste system sustained. For example, in Telangana caste survey, the OBC, Muslim OBC castes have been identified in the manual that was given to the enumerators. There are 60 castes, and based on that 60 castes, 10.08% Muslims identified themselves as backward classes. Now, Karnataka has included the Muslims in the overall backward classes, having clubbed them without showing separate.
Right.
Similarly, in Bihar also except 3 castes, the Sayyids and Khans and Pathans. Rest of the Muslims are in OBC, and the BJP central ministers have been opposing here in Telangana, but not in Bihar. I mean, that is the reality of caste in all religions. We must understand that.
Right. Right, Professor Lair, thank you so much. I'll keep coming back to you. Rachna Reddy, why are you calling the exercise by the Congress government unscientific? Because even in Bihar, like Professor Kanchai Leah was also mentioning, Nitish Kumar has done the same, and in some ways it has become quite politically important for all parties to be seen as pro-representation, pro-caste census in some ways. What is your problem with the fact that Telangana has, sort of implemented the subcategorization and Karnataka is ready with its caste census report?
Here, ma'am, there is no problem with the subcategorization of the SCs. That has been a long pending issue that has been thankfully solved by the Supreme Court recently. The subcategorization is not so much the issue at all here, as opposed to the caste census, because here this socio-economic census for education and employment is a rather tall claim for a basic caste census where you are pushing the agenda of one caste over the other. Here, the Supreme Court, in all its pragmatic reality, in all its pragmatic, I will say, love for the country, at that point of time, has come up with 50% reservations and 50% merit. That 50% reservations covers all community-based reservations, and it could be different in different states depending upon the socio-economic and cultural structure of that state. Having said that, now pushing the absolutely illogical agenda of Jitni Abadi Utna Hak is not only seditious, but it is against India. It goes against the growth trajectory of India, and it is killing India slowly.
Okay.
To put it quite simply.
Okay, let me get a response from Bhavya here. Bhavya, is the Congress party playing a gamble here? Because there's also the risk of alienating dominant caste groups. So that is, you're also looking probably for electoral dividends here, not just at social change. But caste is complex. There are other factors like rural-urban divide. There are also other factors such as migration. In some ways, politically, wouldn't it be prudent for the Congress party to revive its fortunes by not really looking at exclusion here?
We are not doing this for any political dividend. We are doing this because that's the right thing to do. And when you spoke about, maybe the rural economy might be different from urban, the population, that's exactly why we have done a socio-economic and educational survey, which means now when our cabinet is going to meet on 17th, they will be discussing the backwardness of each of these castes depending on their population in terms of social backwardness, economic backwardness, and educational backwardness. And this will help us in designing our policies and schemes. And this is the right thing to do. We did not do this for any election dividend or whatever. If that's the case, why isn't BJP doing it? Because they're not committed. They're not committed to social justice. They don't care.
Because we are not seditious. We are not seditious like the Congress party.
About the
After having consolidated the Muslim vote, now you want to divide the Hindu vote.
And
you want to
least
push
of all, they don't
agenda
care
of
about the
one
women
caste
of this
over the others.
country.
You want to
Okay, Rachna, let her finish. Let her finish. Yeah, can we just have Bhavya, please?
I gave you your time. Can you please be...
Yes. Rachna, I'll come back to you. Let Bhavya finish her point.
You want to kill the country slowly.
Can
Are
we
you
just
done?
have
Can I
Bhavya, please?
proceed? Are you done?
If there is going to be a, ma'am, I just want to correct here. Look at
You
this.
have to correct me.
Okay,
You will
Bhavya,
get
please
your
finish
time.
your point. I'll
Get
go
your-
back to Rachna.
Get
Yeah.
your time. You can speak then, right?
Yes, Bhavya, please go on.
Yeah. If BJP actually cared about the backwardness in smaller communities and educationally backward communities, socially backward communities, economically backward communities, they would have initiated this first. In fact, they didn't even do the general census, which is due for 10 years now.
Right.
If they really cared about the population of this country, if they really cared about designing schemes, which are effective instead of just sloganeering, they would have done the census as the basic step.
Okay.
They don't really
Rachna,
care
I'll come
about
back
the
to you, but
country or
let
the
me just
people.
take one question from Professor Kanchalaya. Professor, opponents of subclassification, I was looking at their arguments, and they argue that dominant groups within every category might still continue monopolizing benefits. And this is something that was raised even in the late 1990s with the Mala Mahanadu, which opposed the Madiga demand for subclassification. In that context, sir, how do you see the move by Telangana government? This has also happened in Haryana, the subclassification or the subcategorization of SC communities. Do you think that that could be acting as a template for other states as well? Because if you look at the leaked report of the Karnataka caste census, it is the SC community that has 1.5 crore people, which is the largest, with around 108 subgroups in it.
Well, I'm the vice chairman of the expert committee constituted by the Telangana government looking into the whole data. And we are doing that. Right now, we are not putting out the data, but the basic thing is, take the 59 scheduled castes of Telangana. There are certain economic variations within caste groups and individuals based on their jobs, based on their limited resources at hand. But the reservation for scheduled castes is centrally based on the historical untouchability, not on their economic status. Therefore, what Telangana government has done in dividing the 59 castes into 3 groups and allotting the Madiga community, which is roughly, according to the latest caste survey, is about 36 lakh, and the Mala community roughly around 20 lakh.
Right.
9% for Madigas, 5% for Malas, and then 1% for very advanced few castes within Dalits, where they are now confined to 1%. Earlier, there was this problem of even this 1% group taking more jobs within the 15%. Similarly, in the OBC category, the caste, this survey does not talk about only caste numbers. What is the education level?
Right.
What is the illiteracy level now? What is the accessibility of even water and electricity? I mean, the data shows quite revealing things.
Okay.
And how to reposition the welfare schemes of the government apart from what they have been promising in the electoral manifestos. Now, see, there are claims, for example, even in Telangana, that each caste has been claiming several lakhs as their population without any basis.
Right.
Karnataka now, Lingayat, Vakalinga say that, we are shown less, though they are part of this. But my simple answer for this is the first time very scientific caste and other assets education survey is done.
Right.
From even 1931 was not absolutely proper. Now, the only available option for anybody to compare and say that our population is this is
Right.
not the guess. The central government, through its constitutional body called, Central Commission of Census,
Right.
they should also do similar exercise. Then both the numbers can be compared.
Okay.
Ultimately, it is the central data that prevails. in the
Okay.
courts or anywhere.
Right, that's a
That
very
is the
valid point. So this should set the template for,
Let me go.
for the nation to do something like this, is what you're saying. Thank you so much, Professor. Pulla Rao, to you, if you look at Karnataka, two politically, economically powerful castes, Lingayats and Vokaligas, are in the 3rd and 4th places, according to the data that we all had access to. And this is after the SCs and the Muslims. What kind of political ramifications do you see, sir, with this kind of data coming out?
One thing straight, I'm not against the caste census or any other census, let them. Second thing is, you definitely are going to have unpredictable consequences of all of this exercise. The law of unintended consequences is going to operate in a very big way here. I welcome a caste census for all the reasons which our friends have said, but at the same time, what has happened in Kerala and Karnataka and Telangana is going to impact the ruling elite of the Congress, who brought the Congress to power in Telangana and in Karnataka. They are now vehemently feeling they're going to lose their power. And it is not for me to tell you how to reconcile the caste census promises of Mr. Rahul Gandhi with the reality of power in both these states. That is something, a very, very big magician we need to reconcile these things.
Right.
And is there such a magician around? I don't know. This is a very, you're going into uncharted waters.
Okay.
A ship may sail through safe, or it may get stuck on rocks. It's not a small thing.
That's a
It's
very, very
big
valid
thing.
point. I'd like to ask Bhavya this question, but before that, Rachna Reddy, you wanted to make a point.
Yeah, here the point I wanted to make, ma'am, is what is the point of this entire caste census? I mean, here is a situation where, without absolutely any knowledge, like Pulla Rao Garu has just said, without absolutely having any idea as to the consequences, you are pushing to remove the 50% absolute mandated categorization, or rather the 50% reservation, and are haphazardly, willy-nilly increasing it to 62 and 66. Here it is not just, and you, ma'am, asked the question about what about the dominant classes. The dominant caste, as well as the fact that the merit, even the merit, the general merit under which everyone, the dominant, the reserved, the SCs, STs, BCs, OBCs, Muslims, everyone come under merit, you are shrinking that merit class. The merit out of 100%, if you are going to increase reservations based on simply reservations to a situation where even merit becomes problematic, how are you going to envisage the country without any kind of merit? Because here you are increasing the entire reservation itself to 62 and 66%. And if you keep on doing this exercise,
But
it's not
Rachna
so
Reddy,
much
let
a
me
question
just
about-
interrupt you here. It was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who talked about classification of the Mala Madika, and I know you're not talking about
Yes.
that, but there are
No,
BJP
ma'am,
ruled
yeah.
states like Chhattisgarh earlier, which have also
The
pushed
Mala
for
Madhika is required.
Yeah, which have also
the
pushed for more than 50%
subcategorization-
reservation. These are BJP ruled states which have approached
The-
courts saying that we need more than 50% reservation in
Yes.
our. So it's
The
like so the BJP is
subcategorization-
also quite aggressive when it comes to representation, when it comes to reservation. Bhavya, you wanted to make a point here. And also the fact that Pulla Rao has been making this important point that you're going into uncharted territories now. Caste is complex. You have factors like migration, you have factors like urban-rural divide, and so many other things. How are you going
And you have
to
factors like
factor in
merit.
all these
Can I-
things to ensure that there is a social change that you're aspiring for, but also the Congress party also gets to revitalize its voter base?
Should I?
Yes.
The BJP spokesperson is here, Rachna Reddy. First of all, when you said you're shrinking the merit base, do you mean those who come from reservations do not have merit? Are you making such a big damaging statement? That's not something you should be doing at all. Please first understand what reservation
Ma'am,
means.
please, you first understand what
the reason
reservations
for
are about.
reservation.
No,
Stop interrupting me. I did not do that. I did not interrupt you. Be respectful. Be respectful and return the courtesy of not
Okay,
speaking.
Bhavya, finish your point. I'll come to Rachna in a
Because
bit.
it's not
Bhavya,
about
finish your point.
merit.
Let's just
At
have
least
Bhavya,
mute
please.
her
When
so
you're
that I can
talking
finish
about
my
merit
point.
in
Yes.
general,
At least
in
mute her so that I
when
can
you
finish
are-
my
if you
point.
Okay,
know what-
Bhavya, please,
if
can we
you
just have Bhavya,
dealt
please?
with education
Can you please
and
mute her so that
employment
I can
cases,
make my
you
point?
will-
Yes, make your point quickly, please.
So, first of all, to think that those who come from reservation do not have merit is a very damaging statement. If this is an official statement from BJP, please let it be on record. 1. 2, there is something called social justice. BJP first needs to understand why we have reservation in the constitution. And
Okay,
what
Bhavya,
it
I'm
is
completely
based
out
on.
of time. I'm completely sorry, and thank you so much for joining us. Can counting caste rewrite India's political equation? That's the big question today we're asking. With that, it's a wrap on the show. My colleague Ankit joins you on the other side.